A good place to start your research is by looking at what is currently or what else is available in the market for your users. So that's why we would start with competitive or comparative analysis. And some of the key questions that you should be asking are what's already available in the market? Why does it have users? What is it lacking? What are their design solutions? So as you're doing this, remember that there's actually a difference between competitive and comparative analysis. So I believe most of you would understand that competitive analysis deals with products that fill the same space that your product intends to. So it's direct competitors, like let's say airlines, right? So you could compare Malaysian Airlines and Singapore Airlines, and they're basically fighting for the same space. But then if you're looking at comparative analysis, that narrows down to individual features or aspects of products and compares these. You could take inspiration from something in a product that doesn't actually have anything to do with your product. So what you could do here is looking at something like Food Panda, which basically has a similar sort of ordering thing that you see when you're booking a flight. Yep, so how you would go about doing this comparative analysis is there's a lot of different ways. So the first one would be feature comparison. So you can look at across different platforms what features they all have, what they don't. Then you can also make some further notes, like I put like for WhatsApp, like yes, there are calls, but it's voice only, whereas something like Skype has voice and video. So those are things that are useful to just take note of. But essentially, it's to be an easy way to just glance and see, oh, this has this, this doesn't have it. And then you could also do element analysis, which is like looking into more more fixed parts of the interface. So it's like landing page or the bottom navigation bar, the message field for these different apps. And you could do this. So I've done this really simply, just like bullet points. But another thing that I like to do is use a plus or a minus point so basically it would be a plus or a dash if you're just typing it out really simply. So just to see at a glance what you like or what you don't like about the different apps. And remember that this can change as you're doing your research. You might find out that what you thought was a bad thing actually benefits users. So consider going back and like editing your notes. Yep. So other than element analysis, we've also got layout comparison, which is like looking at the wireframes. You could basically just take a look really simply at two different interfaces, and so like you can see Telegram and Skype, they look really similar because they both do the exact same thing essentially. Well, not really, but they do very much the same thing in terms of communicating with people. But even just with this, you can see something stands out about Skype is that you can see these little bubbles next to the main icon image. So that would show whether users are online or what their online status is. And yeah, so that's a feature that just by looking at the layout, you notice that Skype has that Telegram doesn't have. Okay, and finally, we've got heuristic evaluation. This is something that turns up quite a bit, and we're going to keep doing throughout the entire process of our designing. So there are tons of different heuristics, and I'll go into this further later on. But basically, the ones you see here are 2 out of the 10 usability heuristics by Nielsen Norman. Yeah, so you kind of take a look at them as a guideline of how to design things, and it's things to take note of, but they don't give you clear instructions of like you should do this, you have to do this. You've got to work out your own design solution for certain issues, essentially. So yeah, here we see basically detailing out what the differences are. And again, you can use the positive negative version that I suggested, just like the element analysis.